Oh, hello there, yes. Well, good grief, what a noisy weekend. All that banging, yeah, noise is off, as they used to say. Yes. Anyway, it looks like we're in a state of war with, well, the East, I suppose, according to our glorious commentariat, but we'll come back to those particular individuals. Anyway, it was interesting yesterday watching the various party leaders coming in a pluralistic democracy. You can imagine they all disagreed vehemently with each other about exactly when they were going to post their support for, the good old US of A. First of all, we had Keir Starmer, who is very much a trained lawyer, QC and everything else, and he's he really knows the law, doesn't he? He's particularly human rights stuff. So obviously he was deciding what the Americans had done was perfectly fine. I'm not entirely sure if that's entirely legal, but that's just obviously how would I know? I'm not a lawyer, whereas he is. I'm sure everything's above board with that and absolutely fine, and doesn't in any way, shape or form have any moral leanings to it whatsoever. After all, that's the law for you. Yes, and we need to have stability in the Middle East, which is why we can't have Iran being at the negotiating table and then not agreeing to everything, which means that they have to be bombed or something. I'm not entirely sure about that. And the whole pluralistic democracy that we have means that, of course, our opposition, here the deputy leader of the party, there's Kemi Badenoch, is, certainly, yes, agreed that, everything that Keir said is absolutely fine. And, we need to stand with the US and Israel, two countries that certainly have our best interests at heart. You can see that very recently, the way that they've certainly met with British interests, so that was good. But you might think to yourself, well, okay then, but, the minor parties would surely say something different. And we got Ed Davey here, who manages in that classic Lib Dem way to say nothing whatsoever whilst waterboarding or something similar. Maybe I'm using a bad choice of words there, but yes, it's essential that we work to de-escalate the conflict and achieve that diplomatic solution. Well, we were achieving that diplomatic solution a very long time ago, weren't we? But various US presidents decided that wasn't the case. Still, we do have an insurgent party, let's not forget. So, of course, Nigel Farage was out in force, as he always is, and deciding that, well, yes, of course, we've got to stand shoulder to shoulder with the Americans. We can't have a nuclear armed power in the Middle East unless it's the nuclear armed power in the Middle East that we're not allowed to mention, obviously. But it just struck me as slightly odd that the insurgent party were telling us but a couple of years ago that the real danger, of course, was that then nasty Joe Biden, and that nice Mr. Donald Trump was the peacemaker, and we needed to get behind him because then there'd be peace. Obviously, I'm missing something, and I'm kind of not understanding that, for a variety of different reasons which have nothing to do with morality or legality, it's been decided that the entire British state will simply go along with what the Americans and the Israelis want, which is the nature of that pluralistic democracy thing, yeah? Doesn't matter who you vote for, they're still going to get in. Now, the Greens did take a bit of a different turn, as you might imagine. There's Adrian Ramsey, who posted up suggesting that it wasn't such a good idea, and it's intriguing. If you want to go to his particular Twitter page, you can see that loads and loads of people have lined up calling him effectively a traitor, because of course he is. You mustn't question the Uni Party in any way, shape or form, because if you do, then you are a traitor who's against the West. So obviously I'm not going to suggest that bombing the Iranians is in any way going to be destabilising and just generically very, very bad for absolutely everyone across the vast swathe of the planet, because after all, I wouldn't want to be, against the West. All those great Western values on display, whereby we decide to simply give people a good kicking no matter what. And the people that get the good kicking obviously are asking for it because they looked at us funny. Anyway, do have a glorious rest of the week if you can do. Isn't it great knowing full well that when you can see things very, very clearly, it just doesn't matter, because everybody will scream at you that you're wrong. Scream and scream and scream that you're wrong. And then a year and a half later, they'll very quietly forget that they were ever screaming at all. And I don't think it was them in the first place. They were out of town, I do believe. Must have been Someone else reminded of Homer Simpson. I don't know, there are a lot of people shouting. Do have a lovely one, if you can do.